How are we? Time to tell you about David Niven, The Moon's a Balloon. It's a fantastic memoir. David Niven, of course, a classical English actor, made it big in Hollywood. This is a fantastic read. I'm interested in the character anyway. I'm interested in the man and lots of hidden facets to his life that perhaps people wouldn't know. He's a World War II hero. He was having this fantastic time in Hollywood, success, starring in lots of movies, and gave that up when World War II started to serve in the British Army and to fight during World War II with no guarantee. A, no guarantee that he would make it out alive, but B, no guarantee that he'd be able to come back to his acting career in Hollywood and in America. So, a very, very brave man. And of course, like many brave men and honorable men, he was very humble and played himself down and would always say to people, no, I didn't do anything. And that's exactly what you'd expect of such a great man. His movies are brilliant. I remember when I was growing up, I saw him in films like Casino Royale, which was a spoof James Bond film. I saw him in the original Pink Panther film starring opposite Peter Sellers, Around the World in 80 Days. And he'd always been someone that I'd been aware of, that I'd seen on screen in movies, but didn't know that much about. So it was very eye-opening. This is so well written, this memoir. It's very engaging. He's had so many stories and adventures. Just his adventure of leaving England and getting to America. And in the days before, the first time he went to America, of course, there were no airplanes. So he had to go by boat, and this long, arduous journey and the adventures that he had on the boat journey. And just hearing about that, the way he writes about it is so engaging. It's a real page turner. You just don't want to put it down. So full of adventures. And he had a very adventurous, exciting life. And he did so much. And he's he makes a joke in the memoir about name dropping, because it almost seems surreal. But the amount of people that he met, obviously, in Hollywood, all his very famous fellow actors, and fellow British actors who'd gone over to America with him, Hollywood actors, to be stars in Hollywood. And he makes this joke about, I'm name dropping a lot, but what can he do? These are people that he worked with, people that he met, and he has to tell the stories. And his favorite name drop in the memoir towards the end is when he talks about being invited to President Kennedy JFK's birthday, and that seems to be his favorite name drop of all the name dropping that he did throughout the memoir. But yeah, I highly recommend it. It's a great read. It's full of adventure, and it transports you back in time to a different time where, I think someone could make a very good movie out of David Niven's life, which is ironic. But it would be fantastic. He had a very adventurous life, and I would have liked to have met this guy. I'd have loved to have met him and to have been in a film with him and to have just been friends with him, because it just seems like a very genuinely interesting man. And of course, if you've seen old interviews with him or any of his movies, you'd have an idea of, how he carries himself, his voice, his demeanor. Very, very charming, quintessential British gentleman, and that type of thing. And of course, a war hero, although he would never admit it, but he was a war hero, a very courageous war hero. And I love the way, as well, in the book, he goes into lots of details about his old war uniforms and the type of uniform they would wear, what material it was made out of, what they would have to wear in different regiments. And I personally find that kind of thing fascinating. Of course, it's not to everybody's taste, but that's the kind of thing I find fascinating. And yeah, just great read, highly recommended. David Niven, David Niven's memoir, The Moon's a Balloon, highly recommended reading. Go and check it out.